Cruising is one of the things I really love, but it does not come in a cheap price. And when all of the hidden costs that stack up one by one, it can combine into a huge sum of money that is a bit hard to bear. But where do all of these hidden costs come from? Well, I'm going to spend this video to go through all of the different hidden costs in an average cruise and kind of let you know on some inside tips. But before I go into the list, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. So let's get started. Number one, it's just like in most hotels, the snacks in your cabin. These are far more expensive than anywhere else on the ship or on land. They really make a nice profit on these, and it can add up. So I'd honestly just avoid that and maybe just use the hot water, the kettle, the tea, coffee, which is all free. Second one is actually buying drinks and food on board. So most cruise ships have an all-inclusive package. This includes all your dining, restaurant and buffet, but it often does not include your drinks. And this is where the money stacks up. So you might want like beer or a glass of wine or a cocktail, and these would be €5, €6, €7 each, depending on the cruise line. Plus, barista coffees and other items like ice cream, they can all add up to your bill. So be sure to track these if you're even buying one or two. This point is going to lead me right to the next one, which is packages. And a lot of these offer great discounts like 25%, etc. But some of them are actually just €1 or €2 cheaper than it would cost you to buy the items included separately, which is a bit of a shame, to be completely honest. So if you get a package, be sure to track every single drink that you have. For example, on our last cruise ship, my parents got a 15 beer package for £40. Quite sneakily enough though, a lot of these cruise packages have very small print that says something like this: every member of the cabin has to purchase this package. So if you want to get a drinks package for yourself, your children, your wife, all have to get the same one. Even if they do not want to drink as much as you, or they don't want to drink any of that at all, they still have to buy the package. And you're really going to have to think about this properly for yourself. I can't really give you advice on this because everybody is different, and in some cruises you might actually all drink the amount included in the packages, and on other cruise ships you actually might be losing quite a bit of money. Because think about this, if a package for one person is €30 for instance per day, if you're having to buy for the whole cabin, it's €120 per day. If you're going to buy alcohol for yourself, or let's say milkshakes for the children separately outside of the package, you probably would not spend €120 per day on drinks. So think about it that way, and if the package works out cheaper than your actual expenses, then go for it by all means. The food and drinks is super varied from cruise ship to cruise ship. Some charge dollars, other pounds or euros. It's a bit complicated, to be honest, and you really do need to get familiar with each cruise line. I made a pretty good video on MMV before showing you all the different costs, so check that if you want. But going back to the other costs, one is the service charges, and every single cruise ship has these on board. Sometimes in your ticket, if you get some kind of package, you have these included in your ticket cost, but most likely you'll have to balance them out at the very end of your cruise ship. So what are these? Well, the most common of these is the standard housekeeping service charge. This is usually a €7 to €15 per person per night cost. You cannot escape it, and it includes housekeeping, so new towels, get your bed sheets done, refills of the little mini bar, that kind of thing. Plus includes all the tips that you would pay the waiter. So you don't actually really pay the waiter tips in cash. You can if you want to, if they're amazing, but you're already paying their tips, their wages. And there's other small things such as 24/7 free room service, etc. So yeah, it's all good and dandy. You can't really complain. Although if you're going on, let's say, a 4 or 5 star hotel holiday, these charges would already be included in your actual holiday cost. So that's a big difference. On a cruise ship holiday, you have to add these on to the end. So keep that in mind when you're budgeting for your holiday and trying to decide whether it works out cheaper to go on a cruise or a standard hotel holiday. And some other cruise lines have other charges, not the whole housekeeping ones that you cannot escape. And these include a few other things, and you really do need to be aware of these because you can't really escape them. But when they come up on your bill at the very end, and nearly every cruise ship does it this way, you get a bill put in your cabin on the second last night on your cruise ship, and this basically shows every single expenditure during the cruise ship, whether you had packages, etc. Pretty simple, explanatory, and it also shows your service charges per passenger. So you go with this to the reception and either pay with card or cash, and you clear it, you balance it, you get to zero. You don't want to have an overhead. You pretty much will not be let off the ship if you have an overhead. So keep that in mind. Now, trying to quickly add a few more small costs on board a cruise ship. One would be the casino. Of course, it's your own money you're going to spend on the casino, for instance. Secondly, would be the special experiences. So let's say the spa, you actually spend money on that, or a hairdresser. Then would be the children's entertainment. A lot of cruise ships have like small games, mini games that you can play, but of course they require money, and it's your own money that you put into them. And there's other things such as if you lose a cruise card, or if you want to buy some cruise pictures, and these usually are not that cheap at all. The last main cost of cruise ships would be the excursions, and oh boy, this is one side of cruising that never ceases to surprise me. These are quite frankly overpriced more often than not. So let me give you a really clear example. When we were in Norway, in Ålesund, there was a 3-hour excursion, 1 hour on the bus one way, 1 hour on the bus the other way, and 1 hour of walking time unguided to a glacier in Norway. So that was the excursion. The cruise ship was charging €60 per person, and you had to book like 3-4 days early to actually secure a place. We didn't do that. We went on land, went for about a 5-minute walk to a tourist office, but in main cities there's different like stands, different vendors, and you can research all this online. So you went there and booked the exact same tour, the same time frame to the same glacier, and we paid under €30 each. There are so many tour buses, private ones, that are not run by the ship. Bear in mind, this is the cost that was there on the day. If you're booking online or you book early, it's even cheaper than that. And one other thing, this is Norway. Norway is known to be extremely expensive, so if you're somewhere in Central Europe, or let's say the Caribbean, Bahamas, it's going to be so much more cheaper. For us, we leave the port, we're faced with a load of taxis. Skip these, we're going to the buses, they're so much cheaper. They're around there. There's city sightseeing buses on the left. They're good quality, but we already visit the city. And there's a public bus on the right. That's what we want. So yes, the cruise ships often overcharge you for the excursions, because of that whole peace of mind, the whole accountability of being led by a certified cruise guide, and they actually keep track of who's there and who's not. My main tip for this is do your research on excursions, because there's going to be some really cool ones or some cool destinations that you can't get to by foot. And actually decide, see if there's any packages done in the town or city you're docked at, because more often than not there is, and they're going to be so much more cheaper. Going up Barrow. It's a 4-hour taxi trip, €100 for the family. Good stuff. I hope that this video has done a good enough job of informing you about the cruise costs, the little hidden costs that are either very hard to detect or just not often talked about, as they're very standard in cruising and just accepted by everyone. If you do have any questions or want me to elaborate on any one of these points, please be sure to drop a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Till next time.